that human anger doesn't lead to God's righteousness. Growth and wisdom is only possible through humble submission to his grace. When we remember that each moment of our lives is dependent on God's grace, not us, we can let go of a need to always be right. And we can rely on his leading for how to live and care well for others. And a prayer is, Dear God, please help me to surrender the need to always be right in exchange for the gift of unending learning as I journey with you. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Chair Burrell, for the invocation. We are going to move on to special orders of business, and we have a presentation for the 2024 Veteran of the Year Award.
My name is Bill Schaefer. I'm the chaplain for the Kent County Honor Guard, and I was Veteran of the Year 2016, so I'm kind of used to you guys. Today, we have a veteran that lives on 8 Mile in Alpine Township called the Klein Family Farm. He graduated from high school, served in Vietnam with 31 battle stars, and then ended up in Alaska. Joe joined the Kent County Honor Guard 14 years ago. In 2023, he served 200 military funerals, and this last year, in 2024, he served another 200 funerals. And we participate in these funerals for many services, and we have many veterans that we have about 95 veterans. We have a South End and a North End. And I'd like to present to you Joe Klein, Veteran for 2024.
We also have a proclamation, a senatorial proclamation, and Peter Dickow is here from Senator Peters' office, if you'd like to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Commissioners. I'm Peter Dickow, a representative of U.S. Senator Gary Peters, who wished he could be here today, but on his behalf, we are honored to present a certificate of special senatorial recognition to Joseph Klein in recognition of your being chosen as the 2024 Kent County Veteran of the Year by the United Veterans Council of Kent County. Thank you for your service.
No, one more. We have a final one here from a proclamation from the Board of Commissioners, which I will read quickly, I suppose. Whereas the United Veterans Council of Kent County annually selects a Veteran of the Year and gives this veteran special recognition. And whereas the 2024 Veteran of the Year is Joseph Klein, a United States Navy veteran who enlisted in 1968 as a Seabee and was deployed to Vietnam. He completed his military services in 1971 as a Petty Officer 3rd Class. And whereas Joe's nomination was accompanied by 3 letters of recommendation and 48 individual endorsements, highlighting that his respect and devotion for this community are unparalleled. And whereas Joe has continued his service to his fellow West Michigan veterans with 11 years in the Kent County Veterans Honor Guard by participating in over 1,600 funerals, Joe has provided much needed professional and dignified service to departed veterans and their families. He is also a member of the American Legion Post 47, for which he served as chaplain, the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 4249, the Fleet Reserve Association Branch 298, the Knights of Columbus, and the Fraternal Order of Eagles. Therefore, be it resolved that Board Chair Ben Green and Vice Chair Dan Burl, on behalf of the Kent County Board of Commissioners, do hereby congratulate Joseph Klein for being selected as the 2024 Veteran of the Year and thank him for his many years of service to the military and the veterans of our community.
You get a photo too? Commissioner Green, Mel Bauman is the Veterans Council of Kent County, and he is the commander, and just wanted to introduce him.
Great, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll do that in just a second.
Let's get you right in the middle there, brother.
Thank you. And I'll give,
Congratulations.
I'd like to give Mr. Klein a moment to speak, but any of us, I think, who have attended a funeral for one of our friends or family members who served in the military have seen more than likely Mr. Klein there helping to honor them. So I know I have for a couple family members. So I'd like to say thank you for that work too. And if you'd like to say a few words, the floor is yours. Thank you, mate. Not too many. You're fine.
Like thank the Kent County Commissioners and United Veterans Council for this award. I'm not a good speaker, but I sure appreciate it. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your service to our country, Mr. Klein, and to our community. We are going to move on to our special order of business, item B. We, as many know, created the Office of the Public Defender last year, and we're pleased to have Julia Kelly with us today, who is our new public defender as of September. So welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Good morning, Administrator, Commissioners, Linda Howell. It's a pleasure to be here in front of you today. My name is Julia Kelly. I have been humbled to have been selected as the Chief Public Defender of the new Kent County Office of the Public Defender. A little bit about me, I'm from West Michigan. I went to U of M for undergrad, Michigan State for law school. I was a public defender for a long time in California. Moved back to West Michigan in 2013 and have called Grand Rapids my home since then. I want to start by thanking so many of the departments within Kent County. Our office would not have been able to stand up in December, so I wanted to thank a few special people. First of all, Al Vanderberg and former chair Stan Steck for your assistance and your guidance at the beginning. For those that were involved in the recruitment process and in my interview, Commissioner LeGrand was there, Eric Brown from Urban League, Clee Jackson from the NAACP, Adibe Garces from the West Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Paulette Lofton, who is the Chief Public Defender in Oakland County, those in HR and on the indigent defense that were also part of the interview process. To all the commissioners, last year was a difficult year in 2024 and working through the issues and being intentional about the vote that you took in July. Corporate Counsel, Linda, Hillary, Sangita, all of the advice and sage wisdom that you have provided to me. To the HR department, I know there are 3 folks here. They became like my second family starting in September, and I appreciate all of their help. The facilities department, Tim Bradshaw is here. Others are here. Tim, thank you for all of your assistance in getting us space and getting us parking. Your continued work on trying to get us more space as we continue to grow. Kay Vandermeer, I don't think she is here. She moved me 3 times since September, always with a smile on her face. To others in the facilities department, from removing, I think there were somewhere like 60 empty files, to restoring a drinking station, all of those things that facilities was doing for us. The IT department, Tim Beck, Henry Holmes, Luke Barbancourt, Tim Jablonski. IT opened their doors to us at 320 in October. They shared space with us. And then on the week of December the 1st, which maybe some of you don't remember, but we had weather very much like this, snowy, blizzard conditions. The folks in the IT department worked around the clock to get us set up to open on December the 9th. They were working overtime, they were working hard, setting up 73 desks, computers, monitors, getting our servers ready to go so that we could start on December the 9th. We would not have been able to do that. The Sheriff's Department, I know the Sheriff and the Undersheriff are here today. Special thanks to Chief Deputy Cole, Sergeant Bolins, Captain Moore, Ben Boomers, Ethan Lepenin. We engaged in tours at the jail, working on visiting issues, working on video arraignments, collaborating with the Sheriff's Department in order to streamline processes and increase communication with them. Special thanks to all those at the nonprofit at KCOD that went through a very difficult transitional year, but they never lost sight of the incredibly important work that had to be done for our clients in this community. The next folks that I would like to thank, and she said she was going to be listening in, the Honorable Kirsten L. Holtz. Without her work and her tireless efforts, this office would not be here. And also Craig Paul. Craig is here, and as many of you know, we will be celebrating Craig's retirement from Kent County next week on the 30th. Craig started his career at Kent County in 2004, and he was the IT director. During his time at Kent County, he went to law school, and then he transitioned over to the corporate counsel arm, handling the indigent defense. I met Craig in 2019 at Kim Coleman's office at the Grand Rapids Bar Association, and he has been consistent in his desire to improve public defense in this county with a goal for our office to be the leader in the state. We tried to get him a jury trial under his belt to add to his resume, but he was simply too busy with doing other things. So many thanks to everyone in this county. I know there's a lot of people that I have left off, but again, this office would not be possible without everyone. So here's a brief timeline, just to remind folks. So July 18th was the vote that this commission voted to approve this office. My quote unquote start date was September the 23rd. Start is in quotation marks. Tracy Eckert notified me that I was the first county employee that actually started work before my start date. I was trying to send out letters from my county email, and IT said, no, you cannot do that yet. So that was my start date. 12/9 was our opening date at the Public Defender Office over at 250 Monroe on the 8th floor. 12/16, we started taking new appointments in our trial division, and here we are today. So about 4 months from my start date. So I want, this is our new logo, and want to kind of go over where we've come from September the 23rd to today. So one of the first things that I did with the help of Stan Steck is creating this Independence Council. This was a very important piece to the new county office. There were many that were concerned at KCOD from the nonprofit. We heard from a lot of community members and citizens in this community of concerns that there may be too much sway from one department over a new county public defender's office. So we created this Independence Council. This was done by September the 30th. Chair Green, congratulations. Not only are you the new chair, congratulations to you because you're also on the Independence Council. Joining you is Deborah Hughes. She is the executive director of the Legal Assistance Center. That's her on the left of your screen in the middle. 2 criminal defense attorneys. Mark Dodge is in the top left corner. He is a native of Grand Rapids, criminal defense attorney with his father at Dodge & Dodge. On the far right is Sarah Riley Howard. She is a managing partner at Rhett Pinsky. She practices criminal defense in both state and federal courts, and she also does employment law. And then down in the bottom, many of you know Tom Murray. He is an attorney at Sam Bernstein, and he is an officer of the Grand Rapids Bar Association. So this was a very important piece to start with, and I know Commissioner LeGrand, you kind of spearheaded that. And I know that the folks at the nonprofit organization were very happy and pleased with this. And so I look forward to the Independence Council working through their issues. Hopefully, if I'm doing my job right, they won't be very busy. So that was the first thing that we did. The second thing that we did, and this is all credit to Craig Paul, is getting our budget approved with the MIDC. He worked around the clock in order to get that approved, working with MIDC. We traveled to Lansing on October the 15th, and that budget was approved. And we were very grateful for all of his work in assuring that public defense would continue and continue very strongly in this county. So then my job was then to start filling out this organizational chart. You can see the way that it was structured. We have a trial division, which consists of a deputy director. We have an administration division. They are responsible not only for the appointments, but also they have a mitigation and investigation team. We have a training department, which is also oversees our research and writing attorneys, and then an office administrator. These are 73 total positions that were in the grant and approved, 43 attorney positions and 30 non-attorney positions. Just for reference, in speaking with our MIDC regional director, Wayne has approximately 100 employees, and Washtenaw has approximately 70. So when I graduated from law school in 2006, those were the two kind of big offices, public defender offices and systems. So we are right there with them. We are one of the top 3 largest offices now in the state. My first 2 hires were the executive deputies. Nicole Jongsma-Dirks, she is the deputy for administration. She's here with us today. And Laura Joyce, she is the deputy of the trial division. So Nicole was started in private practice, but she was kind of on the ground floor of MIDC and getting funding for criminal defense work, appropriate funding for criminal defense work. She then moved to Ottawa County and was the Ottawa County Public Defender there. She knows all things MIDC. She loves a good spreadsheet. She is an excellent asset to this office. I appreciate Al and helping me to convince her to come to Kent County. Nicole oversees 17 employees, and again, not only responsible for appointing cases, but also responsible for grants and funding and compliance plans. Laura Joyce, who is also here with us today, some of you may remember Laura. She is a lifelong resident of Kent County. She is a career public defender. Her family roots run deep here in the judicial system. Laura was an attorney at KCOD and probably one of the best trial attorneys that I have seen in this county. One of the 17th Circuit Court judges told me Laura remains an important part of the office, as she should. She brings historical perspective, her own outstanding skills, and the respect of the defense community. Laura oversees the entire trial division. That is 47 employees. So if anyone is dealing with MPP conversations, imagine being Laura Joyce with 47 of them. The next spot that was filled was Zachary Houghton. Zachary is also here. Zachary has a long career in appellate work, and he was also at the Kent County Office of the Defender. He was kind of the go-to research and writing attorney there, so he was a natural fit to be our training director and to oversee the department with the other research and writing attorneys. We then moved to 320 Ottawa. This is the 4 of us. So right across the street here in the IT department. Yes, I did buy everyone red staplers. We are quick, we are nimble, we can work wherever we need to. And we got a lot of work done over at 320. Part of what we did was we created our mission to passionately defend and protect the rights, liberties, and dignity of all persons by providing zealous, holistic, client-centered representation to the clients that are entrusted to us. And we also, for those that are not familiar with what client-centered defense means, we are working with the needs, preferences, and goals of our clients. We are focusing on our clients' unique situations, individual values, and desired outcomes. holistic defense. We are not only providing that zealous legal representation, but we're also addressing our clients' pre-existing needs and the collateral consequences of them being in the legal system. Our values track those of the county: integrity, respect, accountability, collaboration, and celebrating diversity and inclusion. With that mission and the values in mind, we got through the interviews. These are photographs that I took. I would walk from across the street here over to 320. This is a photo on the left of me going into the office in the morning, and this is the photo on the right is me coming out of the office at night. We were working around the clock in order to get these interviews done. During my interview, I think it was Al that said he had a aggressive timeline, and so we were going to meet that timeline. We conducted approximately 150 interviews. I sat in on every in-person interview, either with Tracy or with Pamela Brown from the HR department. Nicole sat in with the ones for her department, and same with Zach and Laura. We were deliberate where we sought applicants. We wanted to seek a highly competent, diverse candidate pool. We used other tools with the county, such as Higher Reach and other assessment tools to assist us in reviewing those applicants. All in all, I think right now we have 68 of us, 40 women, 28 men. 4 languages are spoken in the office. So we are very happy with where we came and what we have done. Also, during this time with the interviews, I was meeting with court administrators, the courts clerks. I was taking tours with the sheriff's department of the jails. We were meeting with MIDC regional directors, getting all of that done in order to open up and stand up this office. For Court 101 in Michigan, the local courts run our criminal cases. The circuit courts handle the felony cases. And some high court misdemeanors. The district courts handle the misdemeanors, preliminary hearings, and probation revocation. So in Kent County, we have the 17th Circuit Court across the street. And then we have 5 district courts, 59th, 61st, 62A, 62B, and 63. When we are interviewing, especially the attorneys, talk to us about having direct touches and mentors. And so thinking about, and this also came on the whiteboard at 320, we decided to do a team approach. So we have our APD3s that are in charge of a team. We have 5 teams set up for the district courts. They're all assigned to a certain circuit court as being the point of contact. Those 3s also have APD2s and APD1s. So we have direct touches, direct mentors. They are sharing in responsibilities, and they are meeting once a week to kind of catch up so we can provide that mentorship for our new attorneys. So we made it to December the 9th, opening day. As far as the administration arm was told in early November that KCOD could no longer absorb any new cases. Therefore, we relied heavily upon our roster. We are a hybrid system. We do have a roster of attorneys right now. In order to create a robust roster system of attorneys, we switched the time frame of when a roster attorney can decline a case, so they have time to look to see if they have a conflict. That's a 6-hour window that they have. Certainly created some backlog, but we needed to rely upon those rosters because KCOD could no longer absorb those cases. So on December the 9th, we went through our trainings. We had our mission and core values trainings. We went through office organization, office assignments, and again, it was just the 68 of us in there. On December the 16th, we began taking new cases. As of last week, with the assumption of the cases from KCOD and new case appointments from December the 16th, we have assumed over 1,800 cases. That is what our office is handling. And we are doing that with integrity, with that zealous client-centered focus. In the last month, we have had 4 attorneys conduct jury trials. Each one has had a not guilty on at least 1 count. Some have had full acquittals. We are getting dismissals at preliminary hearings. We are getting dismissals at status conferences, reduced charges. We have enhanced our internal processes to allow for increased client service. So the advent of VPN with the help of IT allows our attorneys to work anywhere now. Working with Chief Deputy Cole and getting the permission to bring our laptops into the jail with our phones for that extra process. We can review discovery with clients much easier now. So clients have the access to discovery at any time. Our communication capabilities, all of our staff have county phones for using that VPN when we need to. Access to county assistance has been huge for all the reasons that I listed at the beginning. I talked about in my interview that I wanted to be paperless. That was a goal for the year. The first day on December the 9th, after meeting with the senior legal analysts, Laura Joyce and I sat down and said, let's just go paperless now. Let's just do it. And we did it. And we got it done. So we are paperless over at our office. The number one request from the courts and the court administrators is notices of appearance. Prior to December the 16th, if someone had an attorney at the Kent County Office of the Defender, if you looked online, if a court clerk opened a file, it would say the Kent County Office of the Defender is appointed with a made-up fake P number. We are now filing notices of appearance for individual attorneys so that the public knows we are more accountable, we are transparent, that the public knows who their attorneys are. Thanks to all of the work from Zach Houghton, we are doing trainings. It is mandatory to be in the office on Fridays at all times. We are doing trainings on Fridays all day, every Friday. These are the trainings that we have had. So Zach presented to the Grand Rapids Bar Association on a criminal law update. Emily Partridge, at our research and writing attorney, created an in-house criminal law update, our mission and core values, mental health considerations, probation violations, and friend of the court hearings, which we handle. We had a training on that, know your judges, sentencing guidelines. This photo was taken last Friday. I think it was at 4:30. This is my view of Marissa Barkema conducting a training on sentencing guidelines for our APD1s. I told Marissa after that training that I wish she would have been around when I started it back in Michigan in 2013. It was one of the best trainings I have seen on sentencing guidelines, and that's in-house. We had talked at 320 about how important it was to harness this information, this knowledge that we have in-house in order to help our new attorneys learn more and have that one-on-one training. County Resources and Stewardship was put on by Nicole Dirks. We have attorneys that are at the Hillman Trial Advocacy Program that started last night. That's over here in the federal courthouse. We are also doing weekly roundtables where attorneys can bring in issues and we work through them and brainstorm. We are celebrating diversity and inclusion with various trainings, both in the county and in-house, including collaborating with Chief Inclusion Officer Teresa Payne on our department's behavioral and cultural expectation policy. We had our CQ training on Monday. Looking forward to the Colby assessment and team training and team building with Jessica on Friday. So I wanted to just very quickly highlight a couple of our teams. The investigation team that's in the administration. We have 6 investigators. Our supervisor is Ramon Soto Lopez, who is here. You want to stand up and say hi? Okay. So Ramon is an interesting story. So Ramon is from Grand Rapids, graduate of Union High School. He started his professional career at the Kent County Parks Department. He then went to the Ottawa County Sheriff's Department, where he honed his investigative skills. He moved over to the Ottawa County Public Defender's Office. And again, when Nicole came over, we were happy to also have Ramon come back to Kent County. He conducted orientation for his investigators. They have weekly meetings and trainings, and they are working through their policies and procedures. The next team that I would like to discuss is the mitigation specialist team. So again, our office wants to be that community partner here to increase safety within our community. One of the ways that we do that is connecting our clients with social services, rehabilitation programs, and mental health resources. Those all address underlying issues that impede healthy lives, families, and communities. So this is our mitigation team, and I think some of them may have gotten in some car issues today with the snow, but I wanted to introduce them to you. So Chelsea Hawkins is here. Chelsea, you want to stand up? Yeah. So Chelsea is our supervisor of the mitigation team. Chelsea is a licensed master of social work. She began her career at a residential reentry center for the Federal Bureau of Prisons. She finished as the clinical manager for that program. She came over in 2022 to the Kent County Office of the Defender and started the Holistic Defense Program. She is joined. So who do we have here? So I will go through them if you're here. I know Jamila Simmons is here. Elba Navarro is here. Meg Tevlin is here. Okay, and we are also rounded out by Coletta Davis, Demont Smith. So thank you all. With a heart for those entangled in the criminal legal system, Chelsea and her team remain steadfast in their commitment to effecting positive change and promoting equity and justice in the community. They have, in the short month of December, so again, starting December 16th, they had 15 referrals. They are meeting with clients in the office and in the jails. They're attending court hearings. They're connecting clients with resources, crisis intervention, and consulting on capital cases. Chelsea, Nicole, and I met with some of those partners in the community in order to connect our clients with resources. When this commission approved the crisis stabilization unit, we met with former Commissioner Ivan Diaz. We then went and toured with Dawn Rasmussen that facility. We had a wonderful discussion with her. We're hoping that she will attend our open house. We also toured the Behavioral Health Access and Urgent Care Facility at the heart of the city with Stacey Stevens. So very wonderful resources that our Kent County Holistic Defense is doing in connecting our clients. We also are meeting with courts and court administrators. Last week, we had I think 25 of us on a call with court administrators, clerks, the prosecutor's office, just to talk about our processes as we smooth things out. So wonderful communication with them. Another thing that I wanted to focus on was community outreach. We want to be a community-facing organization. We want folks to know who we are and what we do. We are participating in those efforts to educate people about their rights and systemic issues within the legal system. We received a nice introduction at the State of the County, and I appreciate that. We have also attended the Cherry Health Gala. Nicole, Laura, and I appeared on the Shelley Irwin show to talk about our office. I appeared at the NAACP Gala. Chelsea Hawkins presented at the 70 by 70 reentry program. We've been engaging with the Federal Defender's Office. And we have also appeared at expungement fairs. So that was at the West Michigan Hispanic Center in partnership with Legal Aid. And then these photos are taken from the expungement fair that just took place at Link Up. So we are engaged in the community in our very short time. And we are happy to be here. And we are so thankful to everyone here, to all the departments. And I will take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Julia. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Commissioner Steck.
Well, welcome, Julia.
Thank
It's
you.
good to see you here, and thank you so much for that very thorough and supportive report that you presented. Thank you also to everyone behind you who has come together to make this happen, particularly the folks at KCOD who have been a significant part of making this happen. I recall when we discussed this, Al and I looked after the vote was taken. We said, we know this is what we need to do to go from good to the best. But we could really look bad in this if it's not done right. And so we are so grateful that you have stepped in, that it appears you have done this right, and that we are moving forward on all those things that we said that we wanted to do in order to be the best in the state. And so I look forward to more reports from you and the rest of your staff.
Thank you so much. And it was an absolute labor of love the last 4 months in creating this. But again, would not have been possible without all of the departments behind us and supporting us and lifting us up. So thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Commissioner LeGrand.
Thank you, Chair. I want to say congratulations too. I'm so impressed, and I'm also a little exhausted just listening to everything that you just rolled out. But it's really wonderful. I'm really glad to hear that you're able to get better, easier arrangements at the jail. That is great, and that is one of the things that I hope being part of the county makes more possible, to just eases some of these processes and makes them more efficient. And congratulations on your good results so far. That's really great. Making the state prove its case is it's important work, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. And again, we had the 4 trials. One attorney did 2 trials. So to have attorneys that are so invested and so diligent. And while there is, for lack of better terms, chaos happening around, it's very impressive for them to go in and get the job done.
Commissioner Bujak.
Thank you, Chair. And Julia, welcome to the King County team and your team. I want to wish all of you the best. I know that when the administration came to us as commissioners and brought the concept, we were a little bit concerned about starting a whole brand new department and bringing all these people, and would this work, and how we're going to make this transition look and feel seamless. And I think from your presentation this morning, you've convinced me, and I'm sure the other commissioners here, that we have actually accomplished that. So again, thank you for all that you've done, and for your team, we wish you the best. I know many of you were part of the other King County Defenders group, and we're concerned about your future. And I'm so glad to see many of you back here and on the King County team. I think King County as a government and an employer is a great place to work. So I think you'll really enjoy being part of the team.
And thank you so much. And again, the access to the assistance of the county, I think Laura and I were talking yesterday about a time card issue. And she contacted Fiscal Services and it was done in just a snap. So having that access to get that done so we can focus on what we need to focus on is just, it's so crucial.
Any other commissioners? Okay, I would just like to add my gratitude. Thank you, Julia, for the presentation. Thanks for bringing some members of your team along so we could put faces to names. I know this has been a tremendous amount of work, and we really appreciate the due diligence that you're doing and how meticulous you're being about the process to achieve what we're trying to get here. So thank you very much. We look forward to seeing good things coming out of the office moving forward. Thank you.
And thank you so much. And just to remind everyone, if you didn't see the invitation, we do have an open house. That's, again, part of the process of being accountable and transparent. We hope that you can come. And if you can't come to the open house, feel free to stop by anytime. We're just right next door. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 6, public comment related to the agenda only. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address. Once our staff clears out of the way. Thank you, Regina. Good morning, Pastor Scott.
Good morning, Chairman Green. It does have a nice ring to it. And greetings in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Daniel Scott, and longtime resident of the county. And my real identity is I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you, Commissioner Burrow, for your invocation. And I don't know if you know this, Daniel, we share the same first name, means the Lord is judge in Hebrew. And may we remember that the Lord is the ultimate judge. Really quickly, I'm going to be addressing issue number 8. I also want to publicly thank Commissioner Steck for your many years of being a chairman. Outstanding leadership. And thank you for letting me share all these times. Thank you for your dry humor. I appreciate that because I have the same kind of humor. So, the resolution to spend a lot of money, called the ARPA money. I would appeal to you again, being a longtime pastor in the inner city here at Grand Rapids. Give your money to the working poor. Just don't give it out to anyone that comes to you or they feel they need the money. I do approve of these different allocations. I went on the website and ran this off, whether it's the AYA Youth Collective and so on, even the Spanish aspect of it all. But it talks about domestic violence. And again, I'm here just to remind you that if we did all we can to stop the murder of these precious babies in their womb, and now out of the womb, happening right now at 425 East Cherry, inside Corwell Health, inside Metro Hospital, this would greatly decrease the domestic violence because all of the families know about this eventually. And if we would stop this, you would see the domestic violence greatly decrease. So I'd appeal to you to use your voice and your authority to do all you can. And we'll continue to work together for that, I hope. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comment related to agenda items only? I don't see anyone coming forth. All right. Seeing none, we will move on to item number 7, the consent agenda. I will call on Vice Chair Burl.
Thank you, Chair Green. I move today's consent agenda.
Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Teal. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Corporate Counsel, I'll get the roll call thing ready eventually. I'll call on the clerk to call the roll. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt the consent agenda, Commissioners Bujak. Yes. Vice Chair Burrow.
Yes.
Commissioners DeBoer. Faber. Halsted. Yes. Hennessy. Yes. Hildenbrand.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
LeGrand.
Yes.
McLeod. Yes. Merchant. Yes. Morales. Yes. Morse. Yes. Oliver King. Yes. Pakla.
Yes.
Ponstein. Yes. Sparks. Steck.
Yes.
Teal. Womack.
Yes.
Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. The consent agenda is adopted.
Thank you. We will move to item 8A under motions and resolutions. I will call on Commissioner Steck.
Thank you, Chair Green. I move approval of Resolution 01-23-2502, appropriations of previously allocated ARPA funding to the Special Projects Fund. This comes from the Fiscal Services Department.
Is there support? Supported by Minority Vice Chair McLeod. Is there any discussion? Well, I should call on Administrator Vandenberg to introduce it real quick.
Yes, thank you. So the projects that you see listed, Equitable Housing Initiative, Hispanic Community Development Financial Institution, those are all projects that the board previously approved during the long ranking process that you had of the ARPA funds. Those designations will remain. They're just moving between funds. And so it was our last of maybe 4 times that we acted based on the guidances that came out for ARPA money to further protect the ARPA money from any potential sort of clawback or that sort of thing. So 100% of the county ARPA money has been and now is even further protected by the fact that it's not an ARPA fund. It's fully allocated or spent in the eyes of the federal government. The $417,000 undesignated amount is simply for projects that were completed, and those are mostly internal to Kent County, funds that were left over. For example, we had a contract with a company to help with administration of the money, and when Josh Spencer came aboard, he took that over, and so we didn't need to spend that money with a consultant. So it's more smaller amounts related to those types of administrative things that add up to the 417. And so our recommendation is to put that into the strategic capital because we're going to need or special projects fund because we are going to need more funding for some of our capital projects.
Questions? Commissioner Pakla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Al, just to clarify, these designations aren't changing, but are the amounts changing, or are we just simply saying we approved the amounts, we're just moving it from the account that it was in
Yes.
into the account
We're
where it's going
moving
to
it
be
from
spent?
here to here, not
Our
changing
savings
any
to our
amounts
checking,
or
so to speak.
anything like that. Correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anybody else? Discussion? Commissioner Womack.
Yes, Administrator Vandenberg, when you mention our special projects that we may need this extra funding for, are there any off the top of your head that you could name? I know it's kind of vague, but
Well,
if you didn't mind.
The 2 big ones that we're still working on that we haven't landed the plane yet would be the new county administration building up at the Fuller campus, and then also the medical examiner project. We're looking at alternatives for that, but that would be the other one that we haven't quite landed the plane on as far as final cost and with the medical examiner, whether we build a new building or partner. So those are the two that were on my mind, I guess, when we were making this this action request.
Thank you.
Others for comment or question? All right, I see none. I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the motion to adopt Resolution 2, Commissioners Bujak.
Yes.
Vice Chair Burrow.
Yes.
Commissioners DeBoer. Faber. Halsted.
Yes.
Hennessy. Hildenbrand.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
LeGrand.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Merchant. Morales. Morse. Oliver King. Pakla.
Yes.
Hanstein. Sparks. Steck.
Yes.
Teal. Womack.
Yes.
Chair Green.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 19 yeas, 0 nays. The motion passes. Resolution 2 is adopted.
Thank you. You'll take a 10-second recess here. Just 1 second. Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Sparks is not present, so I was just asking Minority Vice Chair McLeod about this motion. So I will call on Minority Vice Chair McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I move Resolution 8B of today's date. Prevention Initiative funding allocation coming to us from the Administrator's Office.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Pakla. Is there any discussion? I see no discussion. This is a voice vote. So all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. We will move to agenda item 9, public comment related to general county matters. Again, the same rules apply as the first time around, 3 minutes. And please state your name and address for the record. Welcome back.
I'm still Daniel Scott, longtime resident of the county. I'm wearing all black today because yesterday was the unfortunate anniversary when killing babies in the United States became legal, commonly called Roe versus Wade. Put your head around this if you can. 75 million. 75 million precious babies murdered that we know of in the United States since 1973. Can you imagine if any of these precious babies were alive today? The many blessings that they would be bringing to us. Perhaps one of these children would have discerned the cause of cancer, diabetes. Perhaps one of these precious children would be able to compose beautiful music that we could enjoy. Also, we just remembered Martin Luther King's birthday. And I want to remind you again what he said about the murder of children. Quote, "How can the dream survive if we murder the children?" Notice he used the word murder. "Every aborted baby is like a slave in the womb of his or her mother. The mother decides his or her fate." Martin Luther King, Jr. Now, just to our south in the state of Indiana, they have outlawed much, if not all, of these murders. Since they have done that, 10,000 babies have been saved. We've been praying that this would happen in Michigan. $75 million babies torn apart, limb by limb, poisoned, burned, body parts sold for profit. we should all be very sad about this. We should all do what we can to stop this bloodshed. If we don't, the Almighty Lord God says He requires judgment. The Lord is judge. If He is not judging us now, He will certainly judge us soon or later. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public comment? General County Managers, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Rosalind Harris from 2140 Hartstone in Gaines Township, 49316. Good morning, all. I stood before you on September 26, 2024, and shared a very personal experience related to my mother, who has been placed in a professional guardianship on 10/20/23. Since, I have also shared my testimony in Lansing on November 14, 2024, in front of the senators who sits on the Civil Rights, Judiciary, and Public Safety Committee. On this very challenging path, I have met other families who have lost their children to guardianship, while others have lost their spouses and parents to isolation, up to and including death under guardianship. Not to mention their homes and other assets have been sold or stolen. Some of you in this room may have recently seen on television what is currently occurring with Wendy Williams in New York. It is happening right here in Kent County, right here in the state of Michigan. Since my public comment here in the front of the board in September, my experience with Kent County Probate Court has worsened. Not only have I personally met other Kent County families who share this traumatic experience, I've had the opportunity to personally attend their hearings in which I witnessed cookie cutter practices. In addition to the breaking news on Tuesday, January 7th, in which the guardian who had been exploiting her wards was identified, my father's final wishes, signed in ink in 2022 to add us 3 adult children to our childhood home, deed has now been set aside by way of the guardian's petition. This leaves my mom very vulnerable to be placed in a nursing home and for the conservator to actually sell her home. The judge himself stated in 2023 he would not go back to set aside the deed, and most recently, 12/9/24, stated because my mom has memory loss does not mean she cannot sign a deed. On January 13, 2025, the judge ordered the deed to be set aside based on what he found in medical records of 277 pages. There was no physician in the courtroom. The testimony of the credit union manager who notarized my mom's signature, her testimony was discredited. I have been charged with civil contempt for conservator fees I don't even legally owe, told I shouldn't have a key to my mom's home, and placed on visiting hours and accused of perjury. I paid over $800 of my mom's expenses out of pocket, while the conservator refused to give me credit as they hold on to my mother's money. Mom gets $0 of her own money, zero. I have paid countless dollars since 2022 in attorney fees, fighting to protect my own mother. If the judges would just follow the Michigan law stating suitable family has priority, I would have been appointed much sooner, yet the opposite happens. As a Kent County resident, I am here today to charge the Board of Commissioners with a task that will consist of creating a guardianship committee in Kent County, which will aid in providing oversight in the Kent County probate system. Hold the bad actors accountable. However, here I stand trying to protect my mother and retaliated against by the court system. Is it okay if I finish?
You may finish.
It is imperative the guardian roles and guardian ad litem and conservator roles are highly functional, trustworthy, led with integrity, and are aligned with the legislature of Michigan. Families need the assurance that the board in this county truly has the heart and holds the compassion of the people on its forefront. Also, the people should have confidence that the Kent County Board is abreast of what is occurring and is willingly to collectively work towards a solution. I'm almost done. This is a serious systemic issue in Michigan that has impacted the lives of many loved ones who should be under the care of their own family, not a stranger. An issue so serious that it has driven our own Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, to become very passionate, in which several years back she traveled the state conducting listening tours. In closing, Kent County Commissioners, let's step up and set the precedents for other Michigan counties by supporting the Kent County Guardianship Program by establishing an oversight committee or task force. This program is broken, and it has the clear perception of being predatory in its practices. Kent County residents are in need of a trusted entity that will bring trustworthy oversight, supportive decision-making measures, accountability, and comfort in knowing that Kent County is finally addressing this long-standing problem in our community. Please reach out to me. I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help with anyone. I'm still being a voice for my mother and any other vulnerable adults or children in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. Anyone else for public comment? Former Commissioner Diaz, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you. It's good to be on this side of the dais. Good morning, all. My name is Ivan Diaz, former Kent County Commissioner, current candidate for the Michigan Senate, District 29. I live on the south side in District 20 still. It's good to see you all again. First of all, Chair Green, Vice Chairs Burrow, and Vice Chair McLeod, congratulations on your elections to leadership. It's good to see you all and good to see. I still consider myself a millennial, so congratulations on that. Chair Steck, I got your letter during the holidays once I was back from Mexico. Thank you for that. I very much appreciated it. Commissioners Morris, Faber, let's see, Halstead. So I don't have my glasses on, so it's a little bit harder for me to see. Commissioner Womack, congratulations on being elected. I look forward to reaching out to each and every single one of you to talk about the priorities that you have for your districts and how you think state law needs to change to help you better do your job. And that's really what I wanted to talk to you all about today is the things that I think many of us can agree on that would help your constituents and our county function much better than it currently is. And by that, I mean the things that the state is not doing that they should be doing. The things that they have done that are going through the pipeline at the moment. One of those is a bill that will likely get signed soon by the governor that will allow county employees to negotiate their healthcare premiums anywhere from 80 to 100%. I think you all would agree that if we had a public option at the state level, that would save not only the workers themselves, but the county a lot of money in the long run. And I know that there are many of you who consider yourself fiscal conservatives. That would definitely be a conversation worth having. I also want to talk about other things that may or may not happen soon at the state level. Things like raising the minimum wage, things like sick pay, things like the housing crisis that we're all currently experiencing. Even with temperatures like these, just last night I was driving with a friend and there was plenty of people that we saw out on the streets that for one reason or another were not in the warming center. There's a lot of work to be done. I talked during my time here about those people who are under the ALICE category, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. Basically, people who are working, households who are working, but who still can't make ends meet. The number of people who fall into that category is rising every year, despite the good work that people like yourselves and people like those in Lansing are doing. And so there's a lot of work to be done, whether it's hiring more contractors, getting more healthcare employees trained and employed. There's a lot of work to be done. So I'm looking forward to working with you all individually, one by one, and good luck on the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bobby Moore Biles, and perhaps you have seen some of the status about me in the court system. I've worked with the court system for a long time, and to just throw me away, put other people in my house, I have objections regarding that. I'm here. Appreciate my friend that understands where I'm coming from, and perhaps I can understand where she's coming from. Things need to make some changes, and not just because of myself. I know that there are other people that have had things happening too. So I'm going to leave it at that and just say I appreciate all you guys being here. I worked for the court for a long time. And now that this has happened, we'll see where we'll go from here. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we will move on to item 10, which is administrator's report.
Yes, just three quick things. The budget process has started. Commissioner Teal and I met in her role as finance chair and working through ways for commissioners to have more input as we develop the budget. Also, strategic plan, we've been working on that, and also presented the strategic communication plan that will marry our communication efforts to the plan, and that will go out to the full board later. And then also another kind of focus early on in the year has been work to implement the new committee system. There will be a number of policy changes that will need to happen. For example, the intent is that each committee will be over the grants as far as the approval goes that pertain to their area of influence. And we will need to make some policy changes because currently those all go to finance. So any of those necessary changes for implementing the new process will likely happen when you adopt the board rules in April of this year, along with that. Also, there will be soon there will be training that's done for new commissioners on budget, how the budget process works, and that's it for today.
All right. Any questions on any of that for the administrator? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 11, reports. I have a couple of reports. We talked about at the organizational meeting. The standing rules allow for the appointment of an additional at-large member of the minority party to the executive committee. I took some input from the members of the minority party and have made the appointment of Commissioner Womack to the executive committee. So he'll be joining us moving forward. And then we have a couple of vacancies on the child care task force. First, I'd like to appoint Dr. Lourdes Pimentel. I might have butchered your last name, Dr. Pimentel. I apologize for that. Director of Youth and Education at the Hispanic Center of West Michigan. We had another representative from the Hispanic Center serving in that capacity prior. So we're going to appoint Lourdes to sit in, to be there moving forward. She's been at the last couple of meetings and is up to speed. There's another vacancy there related to the business community member who can be on there. So I'm going to bring another appointment to that next month. Okay. Are there any other reports? I don't see anyone. If for the folks that are new, I might have mentioned this last time, but reports is an opportunity for you to share any news or information from the various boards and committees that you serve on outside of our standing committees. All right. We will move on to item number 12, miscellaneous. Anybody have anything for miscellaneous? Minority Vice Chair McLeod.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to just say thank you to Chair Green for moving forward with the appointment of the at-large member of the minority party. That is really something that we are proud of, that our executive committee reflects the board more broadly, and that we are working as a team and in collaboration to really try and approach the business of the commission in a bipartisan way. And I think that filling that seat that I held initially last year, before I was appointed as minority vice chair last year, is really important to really moving forward in a way that allows us all to be at the table in those leadership spaces, to be able to come to decisions in a bipartisan way. And I really am excited to have Commissioner Womack join us on that committee. I think that his perspective will be significantly important as we consider his constituents that are very much not considered all the time. And I think that having his voice in that space will be super important. And I'm excited to work with you all and have him join us in that space.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Womack.
Yes, I'd like to thank Chair Green for that appointment, and a special thanks to our Vice Chair, Michelle McLeod, Commissioner McLeod, for her support of recommending me for that. And I'd like to thank every one of our Democratic Caucus members for your support and all of our colleagues for your blessings. Also wanted to say a little something about some of our constituents that came today to talk about conservatorship. Very important that we take a look at that. I even suggest that we look at even making that a legislative priority, because it's not something we have control over. There's a very good reason why we have some separatism between the county board members and our judicial systems. They work independently of us, and we don't have much say of what they do, but we can make a legislative priority. And I say that for these reasons. I did go to the court hearing of Mrs. Bobby Moore Bynum's, and as you heard her today, she seems very capable of speaking for herself, but she didn't get a chance to speak in court. So going by what I heard from the judge and what people were saying about her, I was shocked today to see her speak so fluently, so aware of what's going on. But that's not what was presented by the judge in court. I do believe that, as somebody said, Mrs. Harris said, we need to make sure these conservators are trustworthy, because if you've been watching Wood TV or any of our local news, there's just been a conservator that was found siphoning funds from her client. And people are like, wow, we can't believe that happened. But in our community, that's talked about every day that that's happening. I have a foster brother that's in conservatorship, and he calls me, complains. He wants me to fight for conservatorship for him or find someone who can, because of all this money. He gets $25 a month, and he's a 41-year-old man in his right mind. And I think there needs to be a new division with some oversight. That's not something we can do, but that's definitely something that we can pose as a legislative priority. Also, the conservators are not bonded. When you talk about the one who was just found siphoning funds, I looked into that. So they're not asking them to be bonded. I can't find any certification for this person, but maybe there's some certification out there that I don't know about. So I would hope that maybe our judicial system is all up to them. We do not control them, but I'd love to see if they gave us a presentation just so we know a little more, because they do a lot of great work, but there's some mistakes have been made. But we could see both sides of the coin if there was some presentation. I also knew that families weren't easily able to access material and brochures with their rights for the families. As Mrs. Harris talked about, they hold people in contempt of court. And most of these families are coming, they're not coming on a criminal case. They're coming on a case out of love for their families and their mothers. But when you get in there, the judge will sometimes say, hey, this was ordered, and we can put you in jail for this. A young man went to jail because of some contact with his father and taking his father to go buy some lemonade or something. His father called him to take him, and the conservator did not give them any permission. We also have a young man that was on the news. He died in the snow, who had wandered from a group home, and his family stated that he was cremated and that the conservator would not call back. So his children and his family had no access to the funeral. They had nothing to do with the final arrangements. So when I talk about that oversight, it looks like there's a lot of rules that may have to be added for them to know their rights. They have total financial control, but we don't know if they're required to have any financial literacy. So we don't know exactly how these conservators are chosen. I've seen some that I can name that I won't name that are doing excellent jobs, and you would think they must have some high college degrees on the way they've done some of the finances and done a great job for families. But there are other conservators on the lower tier that, as the one you see that's stealing money, if you really look at that case and you see how juvenile this cover-up was, you say, hey, she's in control of people's properties, homes, finances. I'm going to keep it short. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but the families also look at how the judges pick these conservators, and they like to see an independent group that's picking these conservators because the judge has so much on his plate. Who's really taking an eyeglass looking at these conservators and how important it is? Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else for miscellaneous? Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I think it would be good if we could get information distributed just to understand the Kent County Guardianship Program and how the various funds flow and what authority we as the Board of Commissioners have over that program. I know it's largely through the court system, but just, to provide clarity on to all of us on exactly how that works, I think that would be helpful. I know over the years, Commissioner Hennessy has been the one who's tirelessly advocated in the community to help broaden understanding of guardianship and how that program works, and the permanence of it. And I do think, I know she has expressed to me over the years that we really do need a option for some of these situations that are very challenging, where there does need to be the intervention, and yet maybe not on a permanent basis. And there's no, to my understanding, there's currently no in between option. And so, to my colleague Commissioner Womack's suggestion on considering this as a legislative priority, that does seem to me a good thing for us to consider, is how there might be an alternative that both provides the important work of guardians, but in a way that doesn't exclude, families, and also, should the situation change, doesn't prevent the person from regaining their autonomy. And so if there is a way we can express that as a legislative priority, I would be very supportive of that. And to this person accused of stealing from the guardians she was responsible for, if she's proven to be guilty, I hope that she's punished to the fullest extent, because I can think of nothing worse than stealing from the most vulnerable in our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. Administrator Vandenberg, I'm wondering if you might be able to give a brief to Commissioner Coleman's inquiry about our role or what it is and isn't in this space.
Yes, in fact, I think that hearing everything, it'll make sense for us to provide kind of a briefing memo that describes the program. To this time, the commissioner role has been to help fund the program. So it is an item in the budget. You do pay some funding towards that. It is also funded through the senior millage. Yes, it is true that this is a program, as far as management goes, it's under the control of the courts. But obviously people bring problems here because you are the legislative body of the county. And so I think certainly having us provide you a briefing memo and ascertaining whether or not their legislative changes could be helpful is certainly, I think, within your purview, and something we'll work to get to you as soon as possible.
Thank you. Commissioner Ponstein was next.
Thank you, Chair Green. So, Commissioner Coleman, I'm going to add up my comments. You pretty much said a lot of things that I wanted to say, but I also want to thank Commissioner Womack. Over the years that I've known you, your relentless support for the people that you represent is unyielding, and I appreciate that. This points out one of the biggest problems of large government that keeps getting bigger and bigger. Our court system discriminates not just on color, but on income, where you live, and it's sad. When we've lost the focus of government of dealing with people one-on-one, we have these large entities, and it's easy for people to get lost in the system. And when they get lost in the system, that's when I think other people step up, judges, staff, that are making those decisions for them. And that's just wrong. So thank you, Commissioner Womack.
Thank you, Commissioner Ponstein. Anyone else? Commissioner Hennessy.
Thank you. I appreciate the concern that's being expressed about the guardianship program. With our change of committee structure, it might be interesting as each committee receives these performance reports that there be more opportunity to actually take the questions that are asked at our meetings and to follow up on them. Because guardianship has certainly been one that, has elicited a lot of questions and a lot of discussion as we've gone through these performance reports. And it just sort of sits there. That's all there is. And so with this new committee structure, perhaps that will also afford us an opportunity to follow up more on those things that we have particular questions and interest in.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else for a first, and then we'll get Commissioner Womack for a second. No? Okay, Commissioner Womack.
Yeah, mine is very short because also looking into it, there were some people in the legal field that were calling it guardianship, and the guardianship is for, at the state definition, was for minors, and the conservatorship was for the adults. So I think it's kind of like conservative slash guardian. Can you tell me about that?
Maybe we should talk about it after.
No. Let's just go put we do need the definitions out there because it's being interchanged, and luckily we do have a lawyer here.
I think we're going to get some more information.
Okay.
Hopefully, probably by the end of the week. I think maybe. Jeez, tomorrow. Sorry.
Okay.
End of the month, in a few days here. So we'll get some more information out to the
I
commissioners.
just saying they're talking about conservatorship, and that's what they're hearing in court too, because of the adult. But
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I don't see anyone. I will look forward to getting some additional information on that. Certainly, we hear the stories from the community, but we also see a pretty high-profile incident that's been in the local media, and I share Commissioner Coleman's sentiments on that. Hopefully, that'll work itself out in the right way. However, if we have a role that we can expand, we want to look at ways that we can do that, or make sure that we're doing best practices in Kent County. So I also, completely shifting gears for my piece of miscellaneous, it was mentioned earlier, Craig Paul will be retiring after 20 years with Kent County. I'd like to thank him for his service. If you can join me in a round of applause for Craig. He's one of the more humble guys you're going to meet in this line of work, and he's not going to brag on himself, but he's been a great public servant. We're going to have a open house for Craig a week from today in this room from 2 to 4 p.m. So come by, please. I don't know. I'm sure there'll be some kind of refreshments, and shake Craig's hand and thank him for his service. So thank you, Craig. All right. I don't have anything else to share with us. With that, I will call on Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you, Chair Green. I move to adjourn subject to the call of the chair to Thursday, February 13th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. for an official meeting.
Thank you. Is there support? Supported by Commissioner Coleman. Before I say that, before I call that one, we do have a work session for the board, which is starting after this meeting. Let's say 5 after, what is that, 10, right? 5 after 10 we'll get started. So in a brief 10-minute break. All right. All those in favor of adjournment say aye. Opposed say nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.